This is Ahead in Tech, career journeys of extraordinary people in tech and interviews to help you get ahead in your tech career. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for joining me once again. We've got something a little special here today. In order to celebrate a new project I just launched the other day, a new podcast, a new show that's out called Tech Team Weekly, which is kind of this really cool mix of like tech news and other things affecting tech teams. And we come at it from like 3 different angles. I've got 2 awesome co-hosts. I'm the dev. We've got Neil Studd, the tester, and we've got Gwen Diagram, who's the engineer. So yeah, please check it out. It's techteamweekly.com. We're on Twitter, YouTube, all your podcast feeds, and all that. It's a really great show, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And to celebrate that, one of the fun little things we do in that show is the stand-up, which if you're in engineering or you've ever worked in tech, you'll know exactly what that is. So I've got 3, as usual, fun, amazing and exciting guests here today with us to share their stand-up updates.
Hello.
Hello.
Excellent, thank you. First up, Abby Travers.
I moved house, so in personal life. So that's been quite cool. Moved back to London and the UK. I have moved back because I've got a new job. So there's a reason I'm moving back to London, which has been kind of nice to have a reason. Work-wise, it's been kind of nice. I've been working on a new feature, which I have found that I really enjoy, and actually like doing lots of kind of tickets on that feature and like focusing on that feature. As someone that really likes variety, I actually found I really enjoyed not having variety and just like focusing on this one thing, and being able to feel like productive, like quite a bit instead of sometimes just really stuck on something. So yeah, that's, I'd say, going well and what I've been up to. Blockers, maybe I'll start with that. Been feeling a bit under the weather recently. I've been needing to sleep a bit longer. It's not COVID. I've tested that and I'm double jabbed as well, and I've already had that. But yeah, just a bit not myself. So a bit tired. My brain's not quite like usual. Then what's not gone well? I mean, probably in the same in the same vein as what went well, moving and then moving into a place where it's like nice and I don't have a problem. I like having a problem and a challenge, and I was like, oh, it's fine. I planned time to like make it nice, and it's fine. I mean, I can do the garden and the gardening, but yeah, like I guess not gone well is like trying to think about that, like why do I always need a problem and a challenge, and like can I be
what's up with that?
I know.
Things are going great, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm so bad at doing that. Stopping and being like, cool, that was good. Like,
well, you've got a lovely new place, and I'm very happy for you. I think you're very comfortable and much happier there, aren't you?
Yeah, it's much nicer, and garden means we can get a cat, so that's great news.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to update us when you get your cats.
I will.
One or more.
Yeah.
And speaking of exciting news, you've actually got an exciting new gig. I don't know if you can even talk about this yet.
Yeah, I can talk about it. I've told my current company, so they know I'm leaving. So yeah, I've got a new job at Bloomberg, and it's starting with doing their training scheme. So that's 4 months of kind of learning C++ and financial systems and the terminal and things like that, which I'm really looking forward to because learning is amazing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations. Really proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
And just a little bit jealous.
I'm sure you could work there too if you wanted. But podcasting is fun and exciting. And
absolutely, yeah. So look, speaking of podcasting, that's a wonderful segue because you've been listening to some interesting ones recently, and where better to plug a podcast than on a podcast? So tell me.
Yeah, so not sponsored by any of these. Otherwise,
no, not at all.
Like it should be.
No affiliation whatsoever.
Yeah, I absolutely love podcasting. I use it to have like noise on all the time. I love going for a walk at lunchtime with them on, and I just love learning new things from them as well. So something that I found recently that I really liked is it came to me as a recommendation from Darknet Diaries. So it's kind of security based, but it's a bit more technical and less like stories based. It's something called Open Source Security. Oh no, sorry. It's something called, Open Source Security podcast. And yeah, it's really good. I listened to a recent podcast on like single sign-on and like what's wrong with it. And, it's talking about the issues with passwords, obviously. And like even with two-factor authentication when it comes to like using a phone and text message. Because of SIM swapping, I really liked that episode in particular. The other like thing that they did touch on is this like Pegasus hack that The Guardian and some other kind of newspapers have looked at. Then actually, like if people are interested in that, The Guardian has done like a week-long in-depth look at that on their Today in Focus podcast. For viewers and listeners who don't know what that is, that was like a mass hack, like hack for hire, I guess they call it, by the NSA group that exploited a like 0-day in iMessage. And I guess a 0-day, people don't know, is something that like an exploit that hasn't been found by the company, so iPhone. And that can be used to kind of like get into the phone and like they're using it to like look at all messages and texts, and they actually were using it to like turn microphones on and things like that. Wow. They were actually using it for journalists, so it was actually like states that were like buying it and using it for like journalists, was supposedly.
Oh man!
But the NSA group has obviously denied all of that. But The Guardian has just done like a good kind of in-depth bit about that, which I find interesting because this whole like hack for hire stuff is kind of, I guess, like an interesting industry, and I guess kind of bit different. Then what else have I been listening to? I guess from the top, where I found the other top podcast from, Darknet Diaries. I guess most people know it, but if you don't, it's great. I really love it. Their latest episode was on people who sell 0 days to governments and stuff as well, and that's really interesting. I think that's kind of a not so well known like industry, but yeah, shout out for that podcast. It's very, very good. It's kind of more like security stuff, but stories. And one more businessy one that I found recently and really liked is, I think it's called Foundering, and it's by Bloomberg. So a bit plug for my new employer. But they did, I think I only listened to season 2 so far, but it's about TikTok and kind of where that came from. And interestingly, like they were saying that it started as this app called Musical.ly, and they were trying to target under 13s and children because they thought they would be on it for longer and get it really viral. And then like there was a point where Facebook was going to buy TikTok. I don't think it was TikTok at the time. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was TikTok at the time, and they actually like turned it down because of like this underage thing, and because in the US there's a bit of an issue with that stuff because they've got laws against that. So yeah, they turned it down, and now they're obviously their biggest competition. But yeah, and that was just interesting. It went into a bit about how, which I've been hearing about, how China is kind of cracking down now on like foreign investment in Chinese firms, and they're also like cracking down on, I think, what they call like soft tech in China itself, and they're trying to not let all investment go into soft tech and maybe like more go into like hard tech stuff, so like chips and things like that. But I was listening again, like the Tech Meme Ride Home, that's another good podcast, and that's kind of like business news and tech business news, or like tech news every day. And that was talking about the whole what's going on there and with the China like de-investment thing and the return on investments being less for hard tech versus soft tech. But it's just interesting, like they're probably taking a long-term approach or things like that. But yeah, that podcast kind of will also go into that kind of stuff.
They're brilliant. That's a ton of awesome recommendations. If anyone's short of things to consume, I'm sure you just sorted them out.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this Guardian one. You say it was a week-long series.
Yeah. So they've kind of focused a bit more on because they actually uncovered it. So they got given the phone numbers that were potentially being hacked. And so them and I think it was the New York Post spent ages looking into it all and trying to verify things, and also looking into what has actually happened, potentially what negative things could have happened to say informers or activists if this is correct, and looking at what governments are buying this hacking via and stuff. It doesn't really cover the UK or the US government. I guess I don't know. Maybe they don't use the NSA group, or maybe it's not as controversial, or maybe it did and I've kind of lost it. But I'm sure they're doing stuff as well. But it's more focusing on kind of other states that are using this, a bias.
Right. Or maybe the Guardian just haven't uncovered what dodgy things we're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. It might just be that we're not using NSA, but we do something else.
Yeah.
In the .NET Diaries thing, it actually does talk about how I think the US government are paying more for these 0 days than Apple or Microsoft and things like that. So they are doing it also, but it's just within this story.
Potentially troubling times. We're gonna head into it, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of been there for a long time, and it's we're getting more and more reliant on technology, so it's getting more and more. But I think maybe the onus is going to fall on people to protect themselves a bit more, or just be more aware of this kind of stuff going forward, or more intrusion detection kind of software and things like that, as opposed to just expecting all our software to be perfect.
I feel like you're really interested in this stuff. Even last time we spoke, you remember we were talking about social engineering,
Yeah. I love it. It's really it's really interesting to me. I think because it's kind of using things the way they're not supposed to be used, or doing things not necessarily the way you're supposed to do it. I guess maybe that speaks to me a bit.
Okay.
And also it kind of feels a bit like you're investigating something, and kind of that's quite cool. It just seems quite interesting. I think
it's like being a spy, which I won't go any further into.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't talk about it.
No. Okay. Abby, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And now over to Thomas Ochman's stand-up update.
So I'm involved in quite a few projects. What I've been working on over the last week is to deliver some features on projects that we are making for some customers. And I'm actually working on 2 projects for clients. Then I'm also delivering a new preparatory course for Craft Academy. So I have a new batch of students at Craft Academy that are just starting out their journey. So that's pretty exciting. And also I am delivering the Work the Web community training program with AgileVentures.org, where we are covering some web technologies and starting a new community project. So I've had my hands full over the last week in terms of progress. We made good progress across the board, but there are a few blockers, of course. There are some technology stuff that are not working out as they are supposed to. I am not that super strong on DevOps, so I'm learning a little bit about containers and Docker and all of that stuff that I can't even talk about because I don't understand the lingo. So there are a few things that I need to continuously work on in order to get better at. The plans for the next week is to continue to deliver the Work the Web training program, and there are some very, very exciting things going on in that domain. So I'm looking forward to our Tuesday and Thursday meeting with the community, and then of course deliver more features and basically code away and ship code.
That's brilliant. I mean, I'm aware of Craft Academy and Agile Ventures, which I'm going to ask you about. But what's Work the Web? This sounds interesting.
So Work the Web is a project within Agile Ventures. It's a summer school initiative that we launched for the first time this year. Over the years, and I guess we're going to talk more about Agile Ventures later, but over the years, that community has been all about open source projects. But we felt that we needed to take a step back and allow our new members to pick up a little bit of skills before they get involved in project work. And therefore, we launched this training program.
That's really great, and good on you for doing that. You know, you've done so much to help people get into coding. So maybe Craft Academy is a good place to start with that.
Yeah, well, so for me, it's all about repeating the same journey that took me to where I am today. I started out as a what you often refer to as a self-taught developer, which is not really true, because there is no self-taught developers, in my opinion. You always learn together with others, whether it's actively or passively, actively in school, in projects or communities, or passively through tutorials or books or whatever, right? I was very fortunate to kickstart my journey with a massive online course delivered through edX, but also through a community of programmers that were taking that course together and wanted to collaborate. And that was the origin of agileventures.org. So in my professional life, I wanted to do something to help other people's transition into this industry. And therefore, I started the bootcamp that is called Craft Academy, and continued to work with Agile Ventures to do this both professionally and pro bono as a charity.
That's awesome. And Craft Academy, this is Sweden-based, right? Do you offer any remote courses, or is it only for people in Sweden?
No, it is. We have international students always. It's a 12-week accelerated program that takes you from the very beginning to a stage where you can call yourself a junior developer. The language at Craft Academy is English. We always deliver our courses in English, even though we are Sweden-based, and we've always had students from across the world. So either people move to Sweden to attend our course, or they take that course remotely.
And I know this is something you're really passionate about. You've dedicated so much time and effort into it. And I know that through the conversations we've had through the years, you know, you're always looking to adapt it and to keep innovating your idea and make it better and better. And I hear it's in a pretty good, strong place right now.
But the basic idea stay the same. It's all about agile methodologies and best practices to produce the best code possible. And so for me, Agile combined with the best practices in terms of engineering that comes with extreme programming, which is nothing new under the sun. It's been around for ages, makes a very good combo. So everything I do, both in Agile Ventures and at Craft Academy and in my consultancy work, is based on that assumption that the best value is delivered incrementally and iteratively using pair programming, automated tests, test-driven development, and so on.
Excellent. You're really walking the walk, as they say.
I'm trying.
So tell me about Agile Ventures. This is a charity-based organization which allows, on one hand, people to skill up and become better developers and learn their craft, and on the other hand, give back to charities by developing for them. Is that right?
Yeah. So we are an incorporated charity in Britain. So we have an official status with the Charity Commission in the UK, and we gather people from around the world to work on projects for other nonprofits. So I sometimes compare this to going to eat at a restaurant that employs student chefs. Perhaps you get a better price, but you never know if the quality will hold up. Right? I think that comparison works in a way, because what we do is that we bring together developer teams that are mixed from people like novices, more experienced programmers and project managers. And we offer our services to other nonprofits that need to get something done in terms of IT support. And they usually don't have those huge budgets. They also depend on fundraising and other sorts of funding. So we are a good alternative for them to turn to, rather than the professional software houses that could cost them a lot of money, right? So the lead times are a little longer. The price tag is lower sometimes, and quite often we do things pro bono, but we offer our members an opportunity to practice their coding skills in real projects, and that is the key to success in the way we look at things. Coding is like swimming. You can't really just read about swimming or watch YouTube videos about swimming or attend lectures about swimming. You have to get into the pool and actually swim. And that is the same thing with software development, in my opinion. In order to become a good software engineer, you have to work on projects. And that's what we are offering people.
That's fantastic. And there's a lot of room for people to volunteer, right? And I know people are in our industry are always looking for good causes to give their time to. So how do they find you?
Definitely. So if you want to get involved in any way, shape or form, the first step is to visit agileventures.org, which is our main site. And there you will get information on how to sign up for the community, join our Slack channel, and we have certain areas where you can chat away if you're looking for projects or if you're looking to get started with some training and so on. And we are actively looking for senior developers that can help our juniors to get ahead in tech.
It's a fantastic opportunity. It's an organization that I volunteered with as well many years ago now, and I can wholeheartedly recommend it. Now, if that's not enough, I don't know where you find all this time, but you also do live coding on Twitch, and you collaborate with other Twitch partners. Is that right? Can you tell me about that?
I do. Well, so for me, it's all about reaching out to people and make tech accessible to folks that perhaps don't think that the tech industry is something for them. You see, it is complex and it's tough to get into coding, but it's not really rocket science. Everybody can pick this up if they want. And so for me, doing live coding on Twitch is just a continuation of what we do, what I do professionally and what we do at Agile Ventures. I love to code. I code professionally. I code on passion projects. I code to learn new stuff. And if there's anything that is open source, that is not proprietary, that work that I do for clients, I might as well do it in the open. So for me, setting up a stream and going on Twitch, which is generally a platform for gaming and perhaps not that much for technology content, is a way to attract people and build my network and show people that it's an accessible thing. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, I echo that as well. I mean, I feel the same way. It's definitely not rocket science, and I agree with you. If I can do it, then yeah, any old idiot can do it.
Well, we shouldn't beat ourselves down because it is complex in a way that there's so many moving parts in a project, right? You have to deliver business value. You have to think about the ideas, scope everything down into manageable chunks of work. And then you have to code it, then you have to deploy it, you have to test it, you have to collaborate with others. So if you take a project all in all, it is not easy, but it's also not that very hard if you break things down into smaller chunks. And that is the agile approach. That is the agile way of doing things. And if you combine that with the before mentioned practices that come from XP, extreme programming, everything kind of falls into place. And even the most complex things can be done if you have if you have a good approach, good workflow, and of course a great team.
Beautiful. That is a great place to end it. Thank you very much, Thomas. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Last but not least, the awesome Louise Jeffery from Dead Happy.
Last week and this week, we've been looking at our rota because part of our job is working on the online chat for Dead Happy. So as much as Dead Happy is a flexible company and you don't have to work 9 to 5 and they have unlimited holidays, we do have to make sure that online chat is, I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
Somebody is on the online chat to answer stuff if needed. So we've been trying to sort through that. We've got one of our honchos is going part-time soon because she's going to go back to uni. So we're making sure we support her and looking forward to seeing how that would affect our cover and make sure we've got enough cover, basically. I also had a day off. Lovely. Went out in Leicester, took my kids, who I have to say aren't kids, they are 19 and 22. So we did go for a bottomless brunch, I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
And then, it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. So I've got tomorrow off and Friday off. So I won't be doing any more work this week.
That's brilliant. And you've got a week off?
Yes. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
Excellent. Very, very jealous. So can you quickly tell me a little bit about Dead Happy as a company and your role as a happiness honcho?
Yeah, happiness honcho. So Dead Happy is obviously a life insurance company. We focus on legacy and trying to make death less of a taboo to talk about. So we want people to really think about what they want to happen when they die, so they can leave death wishes for us, so that they can let their family know or their friends know what they want to happen. And also we're trying to make it simpler and easier for people to sign up. So, you don't have to go through a big, long, laborious list of questions. It's 4 questions. So we're just trying to make it really simple and quick to sign up and get cover.
That sounds really painless, especially in like quite an old school stuffy industry like life insurance. Dead Happy are innovating quite a lot in the death tech space.
We like to say we're disrupting.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you are definitely disrupting, but in a good way, right? In a happy way.
Yeah, definitely. And we infuse comedy into it. We accept most mental health conditions, which a lot of other life insurance companies don't go anywhere near. So yeah, we're really proud that we've managed to sort that out and get that through.
And you've got a really solid team and solid and progressive team out there, don't you?
Yeah. So when I joined, I was employee number 9. I think there were 7 of us working there. So just as we have a set of values. So when we employ people, we look more at their values than at their CV and their qualifications. Like if you didn't have a GCSE in maths, we're not going to say, sorry, you can't work here.
That's lucky for me. Should I ever need a job?
We look at the person, because we think people, if you really want to do something, you'll learn it. People can learn stuff. If your attitude's right and you fit in with the values, then yeah, it's good.
Great. So now we have some friends in common, and that's how I was introduced to you. And the question I've been dying to ask you, pun intended, is what's the importance of happiness?
So it is important. I think being happy is an important thing. However, I also think it's very important to realise that you don't have to be happy all the time. Like lives, I always say to my kids, lives have ups and downs. You can't enjoy the highs if you've not experienced the lows. I'm also a big believer in trusting in the universe. I think things happen for a reason. When one door shuts, don't get too down about that another one's going to open, or there's another way round, there's another route in. Things aren't always set in stone. You can make things happen. I also think that if you strive to be happy, you are going to be unhappy because you're going to be disappointed. You need to step back and look at your expectations and think, actually, I'm grateful because I have a nice friend, I've got a lovely pet, I've got, look at the small things that you do and how you help other people. And I think that's where happiness comes from. It's the small things. It's not the big things all the time.
Brilliant. Excellent. Words of wisdom. Thank you very much, Louise.
You're welcome. It's the first time anyone's ever said that.
Oh, come on. You are far too modest. And that's all, folks. More info, links, and everything else can be found on aheadintech.com. Thank you, and please subscribe.